Welcome back, sacred friends, to another episode of Inspirational Coffee Talk. My name is L.schonewill. I'm an inspirational life coach, a healer, and an avid anything warm drink lover. If you don't already have your warm drink, go grab that now and join me back in just a moment. All right, welcome back, everyone. Happy March. It's actually March 4th. And so I thought I want to play on words a little bit and say it is time we march forth and jump into what we want to create, not just for 2022, but to break it down a little bit smaller, if you will, and say, what do we want to march forth into March? What are some goals that you have for the month of March? This is so exciting. March is here, it feels like spring. There's so many times I go outside now and I can feel spring in the air. And I think, oh my goodness, we made it through winter, right? Even though in some parts of the world it's still snowing. And in fact, it's snowing where I'm at today. But we're getting closer to summer and March is exciting and I love that. So I wanted to talk a little bit today about what are the seeds that you planted in the wintertime that maybe you're beginning to see sprout up. Was there some way that you're speaking your truth that you haven't before? Are you feeling safer speaking your truth? There's so many ways that through some of the videos that I've been speaking to, I feel like we're all getting some invitations to step up, to reach for a higher level love, maybe that we've never experienced before. This is our call to action. And so what a perfect day to march forth into a better life, a better March. And so I wanted to bring up some things for you to consider this March. There's some ways that you could, I'm going to put my coffee down here so I can actually move a little bit here as I'm talking and share some of these concepts of what we're marching forward. So I think it's so important as we're moving forward in 2024 to start noticing not just where we are. I've said before that if you ever walk into a mall and you go to that little kiosk thing that shows a map of the mall and what store you want to go to, there's always an indicator on the map that says you are here. But if you don't know where you are, you won't know, even if they say, where the store is, if you don't know where your orientation is, you won't know how to get there. And so we could overlay that on life and say, we have to know where we are to know where we're going. So this is a great time, if you haven't already, to start orienting yourself to where are you in your life? Are you speaking your truth? Do you know where you are and where you want to go and how far away you are from that? If you've never spoken your truth before and now you're starting with I got to start telling my truth, that might seem kind of daunting. And so it's always easy to just start a little at a time, right? Just a little bit as we go. You don't have to, I always say, get curious, don't get furious. And so if we can, for those of you who are afraid to tell your truth, you're afraid you're going to get really mad, I say, well, then start with curious. Get curious, so that you don't become furious. And this is a time to do the hard stuff. It's time that we start slaying our dragons. No more playing small. No more settling for the life that we don't want. It's time to do the hard things. And sometimes that means starting each day with a morning routine, with what is it I could do today? Just one thing I could do today that gets me closer to where I want to go. We can sometimes think in all or nothing terms, and it's really not all or nothing. It's just right here, right now. What's one thing I can do today that gets me closer to where I want to go? Speaking my truth, getting curious. It's so easy to make up stories. as to what's going on in life, why we aren't where we need to be. And I think it's even time to check in with our stories and say, is that true? Can I absolutely know with certainty that this story that I'm telling myself is true? To check in with the stories that you tell yourself. Because sometimes we can make something mean something that it really doesn't. And so this is where getting curious is so important. Because when we get curious instead of furious, we can actually get somewhere in our life, right? Also, it's so important. You hear me talk a lot about our emotions. And our emotions are great indicators to what's really going on for us. If you find yourself mad all the time, if you find yourself sad all the time, it's time to get curious as to why you're upset. So here's the invitation for the month of March. What do you want to change about your life? What's working? What's not? What do you want to get more momentum on? This is the perfect time to maybe start a graph. You could keep track in your calendar. I put a plus or a minus in my calendar. A plus means I had a great day. Overall, big plus. Or a minus. A minus means, don't want to do that again. Didn't work out, right? At the end of the month, you can go back and count how many pluses you have, how many minuses you have. That's a great indicator overall to see how your life is going. It's so easy to misinterpret how well you're doing in life. You know, you can have a bad day and think it's a bad week, or you can have a bad 15 minutes and call it a terrible day. And so part of telling your truth is learning how to recognize when you fool yourself, when you're telling yourself a story that isn't true, right? Things are going terribly. It's like, wait a minute, is that true? No, not really. Not everything, just that, right? And so I encourage you today, the invitation is start noticing, start keeping track. What's really working? And if there's something that isn't, it's time to slay the dragons, people, right? Tribe, it's time to have a beautiful March. Step into the life that you're being invited into, a life where you get to have all the things that you didn't think you deserved. You get to have them. You get to have the best of the best, right? I hope you have a wonderful day. If you like the video, make sure you like it. Subscribe if you haven't already. And more than anything, have a beautiful day, everybody. Bye for now.